Hello everybody, this is Heather and I've decided to do a weekly update on my December daily. So I'm going to be posting that every Tuesday. I'm a little late today, Tuesday, but I've been editing this morning, so trying to get it up as soon as I can for you. In this video, I have a few things that I'm sharing. So as you can see right now, I'm going through the process of my day 4 and 5 December daily pages, and then later on in the video I'm going to do a flip through of what I have so far. I've completed up to day 6, or what I consider the first week of my December daily. I didn't include Monday, so yesterday, in that because I haven't done it yet, and I just caught up on Sunday, so I've completed up to Sunday anyways. But then I will also be sharing a little bit of a vlog. It's not really a vlog, it's just a couple clips of videos that I took while we were tree hunting out in the forest. So there's some fun little clips there anyway if you're interested in seeing that. But anyways, for right now, I'm going to talk about the process. So as you can see here, for day 4, I'm using one of the 2x2 pocket pages, and this page in particular is from Simple Stories, the Snap collection, and I bought these pages. I bought a few different styles of them and then created my own cover, as you may have seen in previous December daily videos that I've posted this year. So I used this particular page layout because I had so many pictures that I wanted to include for these days. I went tree hunting, as I said, on Saturday the 5th, so there was quite a lot of pictures, and that one actually takes up a few pages, but I included, I think, 6 of them on the back of this pocket page, and you just saw when I flipped it there. And on the front here, I had a few different events that I wanted to record, so I do the journaling for that on a separate little insert, but on this insert I have the pictures for it anyways. So what I've done is put my photos back to back and trim them nicely. I added a bit of adhesive between them so that they don't slip in there, although in this orientation of page there's not much room for them to wiggle, but that's fine. And then I knew that I wanted to have a couple of clear squares for sequin shaker card, not cards, shaker windows, I guess, in this. So I'm leaving that top middle one and the bottom right hand one open so that I can put sequins in there later. And then I'm just adding some cardstock on the back of the photos from the other side because I didn't have as many photos to share for day 4. And the numbers that I'm using, I'm being really jumpy with this narration, sorry about that. The numbers that I'm using are a, a file that I found on Pinterest, and I followed the Pinterest link to this person's blog and downloaded her free printable, so I will link you to that as well in the description below. And then I just printed the printable on craft cardstock and cut them out and inked all the edges. So that's what I'm using for my numbers on each day. And it's really nice because they have sort of a gray outline, so you know where to cut. So for example, this number 4 was already intended to be used as a tag, so I just had to cut around it, which is really handy, and I think they're quite cute. So what I did there is just added an eyelet and some hemp at the top, and I wanted to adhere it, but I put the adhesive too low down, so I'm just wiping that off. Luckily it's repositionable stuff I'm using. And I'm not sure what I want on the back of that yet anyway, so I really shouldn't have put it in there yet, but that's okay. So for this number 5 that I know is going to go here but facing the other side, I wanted to make sure I got that where I wanted it. So I just adhered it a bit on the back, and I know I'm going to be covering it with that snowflake, so I don't mind that the adhesive is there. And now I'm just using my tiny attacher and trying to staple into the pocket, which was quite a hassle because the top of the tiny attacher is a bit big to fit in that tiny little 2-inch pocket, but I managed to staple it twice, which I like. I was trying to center it and staple it once, but it didn't quite work, so the 2 staples look nice anyway. And then I just cover that up with this snowflake that I'm gluing on right now. It's a really sparkly sort of ornament snowflake, and I'm just using some, what glue is that? It's the glue I use all the time, so I should know the name. It's called the Beacon 3-in-1 glue. And I'm just using a little pin to get rid of some of those stringy pieces that it leaves. And it's a nice glue. I've talked about it before. It's kind of like hot glue but in a bottle. And I'm cutting this transparency down so that it will fit in the pocket. And I think this is nice because it leaves some open, clear spaces, and the transparency looks good on both sides. And then I'm just going to add some, these are like stud type things. They're from a Halloween collection from Recollections, but I really like them and I think they can look Christmassy too. So I added one on each side so that you don't look at the back of either of them. And then I'm doing the same with these little red gems. They're sort of like enamel dots, but they're a bit sparklier, like the way they're cut. They look like a diamondy gem, but they're red. Anyways, they're from the dollar store, so they were cheap, and I really like them. And now I'm using this little tree tag here, and that is a ticket from Tim Holtz. I'm just grabbing the package of them so I can tell you what they're called. But they're all holiday themed. They're called flashcards, and they're from Ideology, his own brand, and it's called, yeah, just Christmas time flashcards, I guess. So they're all Christmas themed. And I'm cutting that down, and unfortunately the video cuts off when I finish this card, but basically what I did is I cut out a little piece of, well, right now I'm backing it with some craft cardstock, but then I cut out a piece of transparency the size of the pocket and just used some washi tape to attach this little ticket flashcard onto that transparency so that it would float where I want it to, but I didn't have to add adhesive on either side because I wanted it to be viewable from both sides. So you'll see that here in the next clip. And yes, so I'm holding the transparency there. You can't really see it, but that's just so you know what's going on. I had a lot of fun using this 2x2 page. It was quite a different thing for me because I'm still new to pocket scrapbooking in general, so it was fun to use that anyway. So yeah, the video cut out here, but I finished up that card, and now I'm just adding, oh, I also did my, what are they called? Shaker windows, and stitched those shut using my sewing machine. I didn't record that because I knew that the sewing machine would be in the way of the camera angle, but I'm sure you've seen other people do that, and it's pretty self-explanatory. I just put a few pinches of confetti and some sequins in those pockets and then held it shut while I sewed it. It was really fun, actually. I hadn't tried that before, even though it's a big popular thing right now. It was my first attempt at it because I actually just bought sequins the other day for this specific reason. I didn't have any before, so it was fun to do. This little scrap is from that tree flashcard, and I'm just adhering it to that photo and then adding a little staple on it just for some extra interest. It has a little number, a random number on it. And then I'm just going to add more of these red gem thingies to this side, and I think I'm going to call that done. I really like how the shaker parts turned out and how there's multiple see-through spaces on the page. So now what I'm doing is finding a sheet from the Jasmine Jones kit to put on the back of that big photo there, and I knew I had more photos from this same event, so I wanted to put them in the same spread directly across from that 4x4 pocket page, and I'm selecting this red stripe pattern because I think it looks nice beside the other red elements on that 2x2 page. So I had more of these 2x2 photos because I didn't know how many would fit or how many I would want to fit into that um, page protector. So I'm just lining them up here now, and I'm trying black cardstock, seeing what it looks like if I were to mat that one photo in it, but I didn't like that. I prefer this craft. So I wanted this particular photo to stand out a bit because it was edited using Instagram, and I think it just looks a bit nicer than the other photos, and it's a bit of a different subject than the other outdoor photos too. So I'm making it stand out by adding a mat underneath it, and then later you'll see that I place it on top of the border on either side of this photo strip. I'll get to that. I use washi tape to create a border, but that helps this photo to stand out a bit more from the other ones, as well as its different coloration. So here I'm using this washi tape. I believe it is a Recollections one from Michaels, but I'm not positive on that. And so I just put one strip there, and I like how the photos look layered on top of it to make it seem like it's a bit more narrow. And then I'm going to put a strip on the other side too, and I'm playing with the idea of putting it across the top of all of them, but then I decided that I did want that other photo to stand out, so I'm placing these ones on top of that first washi. And after I adhere these down, I'm then going to put that washi tape strip on top. I know that you can actually see exactly what I'm doing, so I really don't need to narrate this in such detail, I'm sure, but I usually have more to talk about, so I feel like you are pretty updated on what's going on in my little land. I've been posting more videos lately, so yeah, I'm just talking about what I'm doing. If you have any, as I always say, if you have any video requests, I love taking requests, and I'm working on a few things now. I will be quite busy with doing these December daily videos because, of course, I work on my December daily during the week and then somehow need to edit and keep it as up to date as possible when I post it on Tuesdays. So that's why I'm working on this, and it is Tuesday. And I want it to be sort of current when I post it, if you know what I mean. So anyways, here I just added a title and it says Tree Hunt because that's what we were doing. And then I'm going to play with where to put my journaling on here. First, as usual, stamping the date. I love my date stamp. And it's just one of the normal office ones. It's not an actual scrapbooking branded one. And I didn't really want to record myself writing because I don't think you care to watch me write, and it also makes me nervous to write on camera, so I just skipped filming that part. But now I am adhering this giant photo to the back of that layout that I just did, and I just used some adhesive as well as my glue stick, and I just think it gives it a little bit extra stick. I want it to stick close to the edges for sure, and of course in the middle too. So I'm just playing with a few different things to put on this page. First I'll trim the edges, of course, but I kind of struggle with this for a while as far as how to embellish it, and I don't know why. I'm usually quite decisive, but I think because I'm still near the beginning of my project, I still have all these beautiful embellishments, and I want to just use them all. Like that squirrel wood veneer is so cute. I want to use it, but it didn't quite work there. So I play with quite a few things here, and you can just see for yourself how that goes. But this green piece of paper, I will end up cutting that into a banner shape and then layering a sticker on top of it. And that's all that I do to this page because I wanted to keep it quite simple and let the photo stand for itself. We really like our Xterra, our vehicle here, because we take it off-roading all the time and it's quite fun. So that's why it's so dirty in this picture, but this was a really fun excursion, and it's just become a tradition for us. My husband's family has always, well, I don't know always, but they have typically hunted for their own tree in the forest. And here in Alberta, you can buy a permit for about $5, and that allows you to cut down 3 trees in designated areas. And we selected a tree for ourselves, of course, and the trees, I think they have to be between a certain height and all that. So it is standardized, which I think is good, but it's also really fun to just hunt for your own tree in the forest. I have really enjoyed it, doing it the last few years anyway. So here, this is what I finally decide on, is this banner piece that I cut and that little label piece from Jelly Bean Soup. And I do end up cutting the star off the end of that not banner, off the label, because I thought it was a bit too long, and I'll use the star on something else, just tucked in some layers or something. So I kept that, of course. And now I'm going to be explaining, once I complete this page, how to use the cinch. And the cinch is one of my favorite tools that I own. It's one of my more expensive tools, but I do get really good use out of it because I make so many mini albums. So this isn't a full tutorial, I'm just demonstrating how I do it. So I've slowed this part down. So I have my ruler pulled out slightly, and I don't have the exact measurement for you because it will depend on the size of your book. But basically that white piece of paper is my template, and it is the length of my covers of the book. So all that I have to do is put that white piece of paper in there, and then put my page on top and make sure it's centered on top of that white sheet of paper, and punch, and then I know that my holes are going to be perfectly centered. So to do this, you kind of have to just play around with the template and see what works for the measurements that you have. And now I'm going to go into my album flip through.
I hope that you have liked the video so far and that you've enjoyed a bit of my process. I'm just going to do a quick flip through of what I've completed in the first week of December daily. So as you've seen in previous videos, this is the cover page. Here I created sort of my intentions page, which I haven't done before, but I was inspired by Ali and many of the people following Ali to do a thing like this. So it just says, Andrew and I have gone through many changes since last Christmas. We are both done school now and he is working. I am trying to figure out what is next for me. There are many changes to come and we are feeling very blessed and excited for this year. So I just think it will set a little bit of context for the album. This lovely quote from the kit. And then, as I shared on my blog, I did a sort of review of November because there were several big events in November. One being my convocation for grad, another being my family got a new dog, and my grandma passed away. I also went to my husband's Christmas party, and I just wrote about that as well. And then here is a picture of a snowfall that we had. This is day 1. So I'm using these numbers that I got from a printable via Pinterest, which I've linked on my blog, and I will link in the description below as well. And I just printed it out on craft paper, cut them all out, and inked the edges with vintage photo. And here's my journaling here, just a very simple layout for this day. Here I used the 2 4x6 page layout, and this is just a picture of my Bible because I had Bible study that night. And this is a nice quote that I've had in my stash for a while, and it went with the theme of Bible study, so I included that as well. There's another number, which I actually put on the outside of the page protector and just popped up a little bit. This angel is also on the outside of the page protector, and I like to do that just to add a bit of dimension. The only thing that I have to be careful of is embellishments on the outside are going to damage the photo when they rub together, and this bling is already indenting a bit on the photo, which bothers me a little bit, but I'm not going to change it because I like how it looks on with it on the outside. Simple day 3 again. I just uploaded a video of my layout share, so I included those 9 layouts here, and I think that'll be neat to look back and see which layouts I was working on during this time. I also created this pocket out of vellum and just used an 8.5 by 11 sheet of vellum and inked all the edges, and I've just closed it with washi tape, which is easy to peel up and get inside the envelope. I have included some extensive journaling in there for day 3, which is personal to me. And to put this in the binding, I didn't want to punch the envelope, obviously, because that would affect the function of it. So I just added these tabs and punched those instead. This, I just needed to add a little extra piece in here because this piece that I wanted to include wouldn't fit in this page, obviously, so I put it there and then included all my journaling on the back. This you saw in the process. I created it kind of both sides at once, just so that I would have an easier time planning both sides. So most of the pictures are back to back, and then I have a few open sort of shaker pockets and another couple clear areas here. So there's the number 4. It's a tag for this day, which is cool. And some of these embellishments are on the outside, the enamel dots. Same for this page. So I just had a ton of photos for these days that I wanted to include. So I've got 6 photos here, and then for the same day, another 4 photos here, and then the large image on the back of this is with the same day. And actually these are the same day, so it was just an eventful day, and I did my best to condense it but still include everything I wanted to. So I just journaled on top here for the day. I have my title going this way, and I wanted this photo to stand out a bit more, so I matted that with craft cardstock. And the other ones are, this is a washi tape, so the tape is behind the photos on this side and on top of them on this side. But this one's on top on both sides, as you can see. I included this large photo because I really liked it, and I edited this a bit to make it brighter and higher contrast, and I just really love how that turned out. So there's our Christmas tree on top of our vehicle. And then again, this is the same day, so I just used this 6x8 paper from the kit and added these pieces. This is an ephemera that I printed off from the day, an invite to a party we went to, and then a couple little photos. This is all one day. This is probably my favorite spread so far, I believe, and I just took a picture of the cookies that I baked this day. This is Sunday, and I really like the detail in that photo, and then just added a little title to it with a couple gingerbread man stickers. And then this side, so this is Sunday, I don't remember if I just said that or not, and I had more photos to include with cookies, but I wanted to hide them sort of because this page was more about the church service we went to. This is my husband. He plays in the, it's not really a band, but there's about 3 of them that make music, so it's really nice anyways. And then this, I love this pocket, how it turned out. I used this deer head wood veneer and just used a teeny bit of adhesive on the back of the head here to attach it to a transparency sheet, just a clear plain one that I cut. And then behind the transparency I put all these sequins and just sewed it shut. And I wanted to define the edge, so I just put some washi tape on there as well. And yeah, I just really love how that little piece came out. And then I have my journaling for the day up there. And oh, I also wanted to point out, this is Jen Schow's printable from this week. She just started a new series of her brush script on her YouTube, so definitely check that out. And I think this went really nice with the church theme, so I just added that as well. It's adorable, and I love her lettering. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you come back next week to check out week 2 of what I have created. Thanks so much. Have a great one.
Where are you? Okay.
Look out!
Don't
Drop down your
brothers.
fling me! I'm trying to get through. Dad's gonna have a heart
Okay,
attack.
go ahead, go
down
under.
Josh's tree. Ha!
Dad's yelling at me. What?
There's
Okay,
tons in here.
Don't leave
We're
me.
gonna leave Andy.
Come on, Andy.
Oh, look at this column. This just looks so cool.
I know. The video is not really capturing it.